All right, Leo, it's your turn, baby. So Leo, as I was, meditating and getting on your energy, look what it says right here. Shame, shame. You caught them in their lies. I don't know. I was picking up on somebody that just lies, deceitful, just somebody that you were dealing with. Now, for some of you guys, your mother wants you to switch your destiny with a brother or sister. Look, and a shame. For some of you guys, you could have been catching on. I don't know, but in the work, if this has to do with work, you could have been dealing with somebody, supervisors that didn't want you to get a promotion. Lies after lies, and you started to catch on. For some of you guys, you could have gotten written up. It could have affected you, where you're like, man, this person told me to do this. In other words, they were guiding you in the wrong direction. You thought this person was gonna help you, but in reality, you're starting to find out like this person is trying to sabotage me. So you could be dealing with a compulsive liar. I mean, this person could look you straight in the eyes and tell you a lie, but your intuition's like, no way. So you might have caught this person in a lie. It says you have a bullseye on your head. What the heck is that? Okay, now it makes sense. It says, as you become a success in spirit, it will feel as if you have a bullseye on your head. So for some of you guys, you're stepping into your spirituality. You could be going through a period of time. If you had spell work, you're starting to figure out. You're starting to figure out, and you're wondering why. And you could be angry if you're finding out, like what I put on the community post. And if you do find that out, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, anywhere in your chart, I'm gonna set it here. Just know that if people have to get to that, go that low, you're freaking badass. Put it in the comments. You are freaking badass. And look, I know exactly what I need to do. So you could be in this energy and you might want to retaliate, but I'm telling you, don't. Some of you guys are going to have to fight through, it's a spiritual warfare. For some of you guys, the more positive and you pick up your vibration and you forgive, it'll go back. If it's in the workplace, you could have a bunch of people. I don't know why I feel like a little group that wants to take you out or to get you fired. Been gone or disappear. This person that could have did some kind of magic on you, they're already gone. They're not in your life. They disappeared. They're not gonna come and this is what I'm picking up. They're not gonna come in front of you. For some of you guys, pay attention. There'll be a person that calls you out of the blue. How are you doing? And they want to know because you're like, what you mean? How am I doing? Like if they're checking up on you. This could be a friend. This could be, sibling, the lover, or ex or something. But the way they call you, you need to pick up on that. You're going to click. You're going to be like, oh, okay. And it's almost like they tell on themselves. So I don't know. Being gone and disappear. For some of you guys, if it's in the workplace, it could be toxic. It's like you want something better. So if they push you out, just understand, that you have something better coming. It says, you say we're just friends. So you could be dealing with somebody with friends with benefits or somebody. Yeah. If this was in the workplace, man, it's gossip. You already know who. This person, you could have turned them down. You could have said, oh, I'm going to sell a chingada. And, it could have been something that you could regret. I don't know why I'm picking that up. For a lot of you guys, look, creating financial abundance. You could be in this energy or you're trying to get into this energy and you just feel like something is holding you back, like stagnant. Like I said, you could look around your house. You're going to find something. You're going to find something out. You might find one of those jars or something. They want to be the boss. And it says, let them. So for some of you guys, if you took off, you said, you know what? Oh, man, you gave it to them. It's almost like somebody was putting you in competition. And this person probably didn't know as much as you did. So you're being asked if you haven't done it. Because you're not going to sit here with the bang back and forth, this and that. Even with, when you find out with this jar, don't even go there. Give it to God. And vámonos a la chingada. And I'm teaching you guys that because for I'm practicing what I preach. I have to forgive. First, you'll be surprised who the hell, does that. And a lot of you guys, if it is within a family, like, dude, at least on my case, I love my family, whether they're assholes or not, or whether they like me or not. For some of you guys, you could be in the same situation. It's like, damn, they're jealous of you. And you could be in a age gap difference. For a lot of you guys, it's you never even thought about competing with these people or your family. If you're firstborn, you could be an age gap. Some of you guys, you left the house early, 13, 14 years old, and you didn't have that bond, that relationship with them. So you can feel that jealousy, and you're wondering why. You can love these fuckers. You know, it's just the way it goes. I'm here. They copy your style, and it turns you. I guess it says it copies your style. It copies. They copy your style, and it turns you on. So if this is the opposite sex, fine. So I'm picking up on this, that if you have somebody that's copying your style, I'm picking up on a Leo. You don't have this jealousy. Like it makes you feel good. You know, maybe you're meant to inspire people to help them, be creative in ways to advance in life, advance in their career. So it might turn you on. It might give you a push to keep pushing forward. And like I said, if this is a partner that's kind of like, the opposite sex, if it's the same sex, la chingada, that's crazy. But if it's the opposite sex, it might turn you on, because it's almost like you're meeting somebody that's on like their view to advance in life. Like both of you guys are on the same, walking the same path. If it's other people, you like it. And like I said, if it turns you on, it could mean that it makes you feel good, and it's gonna give you a light bulb. You're gonna be like, wow, you know what? I could thrive in this. Being a coach, being a advisor, being somebody that trains. You know, so you could be avoiding, or somebody. You're not gonna play games with this. For some of you guys, you're too old for that crap. Be playing this blame game. So that's why they're avoiding you. It says God loves when you bless him. So for a lot of you guys, you're very grateful. I'm talking to my Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, anywhere in your chart, no matter what, you bless God. You're very thankful. And, even through your hardships, like even through your karma, at least on my end, I know I have to deal with karma. And you know what? Even if it hurts, even if I have to suffer, one of the things that I want you to look at from a higher perspective, that if you do go through trials and tribulations, or you have to suffer, because of somebody else, and you could look at it, why did God allow that to happen? And when you do that, just know that God is already watching. So if he allowed it to happen, you're going to learn something, because there's people that get away with it. And maybe God don't love those people, but he loves you. So if you went through hardships, guess what? Even if God seen that person betrayed you, guess what? If you look at it from a higher perspective, it's because God loves you. It says it in the book. Read it. It says God knows your heart. He knows the battles you fought, the tears you shed. See? It says it's hard to resist a bad boy or a bad girl who's a good man. So for some of you guys, if you're a woman, you could be dealing with a bad boy. Like the motherfucker, maybe he slangs all kinds of shit, but then he's a good man. And you know what? I feel a lot of people and if it's a bad girl, like she could have been a stripper, but she starts to present, you could be a stripper, you present yourself and you start to look at, life in a different way. Like you could have done it just to get yourself out of a bind and to get back on your feet, to go to school, and people don't see that. I'm talking to my Leos. If you're a stripper, man, or woman, you got your focus, you have goals, you want to thrive. So if people want to look at your past, ain't nobody perfect, and it ain't none of their business, and it doesn't define you. If you could have been, I don't know why I get people that feel, and I was one of those. I'd be like, man, you talk about God, or you get on that God path, and we tend to judge. It doesn't change. Like I got to the point where I asked God, like, you created me this way. It doesn't mean that I must still be doing bad things. I tend to slip here and there. Nobody's perfect, but I have, I'm grateful. I love the way God created me with my flaws at all. And some of you guys, you're gonna, for my ladies, you have somebody that you can't resist this person. For my fellas, it's like she can be fine as hell. And because this woman, used to be stripping, you could have fellas or your partners, your friends that think that they're going to disrespect you. And for some of you guys, you're going to catch them slipping and you're going to put them in check. And this woman's going to love you. You're going to shock. I don't think she's ever had that. And for my ladies, you got to remember, my ladies, because for some of you guys, you could be dealing with conflict within your relationship right now. You could be, mad. You want this person to change, but you forgot that you met him this way. And if you made him change, now you're pissed off. He's not a bad boy, and you're catching attention. The devil's working on you, trying to. Better think about that. For my fellas, if you're listening, you don't change. You still. There's certain things that you could change. I mean, if this person is a good man and he's a bad boy, he ain't domestic violence. You ain't dealing with that shit. Don't make him change. You'll regret it. Not afraid to lose. So you could be dealing with somebody that is not willing to change. No, this is who I am. This is how you met me. And look, they're not afraid. They'll pull their fucking energy back. I'll tell you like that. I can tell you, I was like that. I ain't gonna change for nobody. For God, for SSE, for God, I'll change. But you could be dealing with that. It says tells you you're the only one. Ooh, if you're dealing with the player, or if this is you, Leo, you're gonna make a change. You're gonna meet somebody that's gonna change you like that. It says, I'm not saying sex is all I want, but I'll sure love to F you. Oh my God. Man, let's get out of here. Let's let's move on. So you could be dealing with that, and you're over here trying to focus on this financial, abundance that's coming and creative. You could be building different streams of incomes. They're slowly coming to you and slowly working. And I feel like you have, if there were the liars that we were seeing in the beginning, they might have cut you out, but they're like looking, what is Leo doing? Sun, moon, rising anywhere in their chart. Why? Because you pull your energy back, but they're telling you to keep to yourself. Don't even put it out there. A ver, let's see. Let's get one of these cards. Yeah, if you were dealing with harassment, like with a boss or something, or department manager or something, you could file. You could file for you have a case. For some of you guys. Now, for my fellas, you gotta be careful, because for some of you guys, you could have a lady that's over here trying to set you up. You're gonna lose your job, everything. Trying to get another job. Imagine for harassment, it'll be a tower for that ass. You're over here. You got too much to lose. In other words, for a lot of you guys, look. For some of you guys, if you got a tower, if you had a tower, like a separation, it wasn't going good. You were trying to do something. It's almost like you could have been like, God, I thought you told me to do this, and it still was a tower. Like somebody betrayed you. Look at this. Look at this. You have options. You get wishes. Now, don't. I'm here. Don't go crazy trying to get all kinds of stuff, because you might just have 3 wishes, bitch, and that's it. So get creative. Look, this could have been after what? But why? What did you do, fucker? Huh? You learned all the lessons. You're coming home. You're like, man, if not, like in my case, that's me going out to get firewood, fuckers. I learned my lessons, but I'm coming back. Look, you could be fighting back and forth. How am I going to do it? How am I going to tell them? It could have been over a lover, You could be thinking like, if I just take a little bit more time, or, or this could be the person you were dealing with. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna wait a little time. You know, there could have been an argument. You could you could have had to leave the home with a little bit of things with you, but you know, you had the strength. You could have been, my ladies, you could have said, "Oh, I'm not gonna put up with him." And it could have been over, you know, lovers, you know, but somebody's in the hangman mode. You see that little clock right there? They could be sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm gonna just chill. I'm not gonna go and bother Leo. You know, let me wait a little bit time so maybe they could cool off. Maybe, you know, they'll forget that you know, with this full moon over here, I was, you know, doing my thing, dancing back and forth. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, Leo. Look. Mm-hmm. A lot of you guys, you're too busy. I'm telling you, you're trying to do your work. You're trying something new. Some of you guys that you're gonna find out with this moon right here. You might find out, yeah, there was a plot. See, this person's drawing, but there's somebody back here. Look, you see, what are you gonna find out? Yes, somebody was making a deal behind the scenes, and this could lead to it's almost like a parental figure telling you, look, cabron, da da da. If this is an ex, they could be finding out that you're moving on with somebody else. For some of you guys, they pushed you into somebody else's arms. There's something to do with the full moons. Look at all these full moons. And then the house of, this is like a home right here. Now, this is in the woods. For some of you guys, there was two people that, if this is not you, Leo, this is your person that was making a path right here. Yeah, well, let's go bust a nut over here, something like that. And then for some of you guys, it could have created an ace, a little, you know, little baby. Mm-hmm. Safe and everything. Now, for some of you guys, Leo, by you could be creating abundance with somebody. Like if you're if you're dealing with some reconciliation, not for all of you guys, for some of you guys, it's almost like this is something that is after a period of time you could have been in the doghouse. This person is laughing. Look, they could have been mind control games, and for Leo, for some of you guys, you need to have communication. We saw all that sexual things over there. So some of you guys, you need to speak up. This look, you don't even come in and this and that, and this person might not even be cheating or nothing. Look, he's having some drinks right here outside the door, maybe at the corner. For some of you guys, you know, look, the snake bit right there, the snake bite. It could be just, you know, hallucinations, or your person could be like, when are you coming home, fucker? I want you here. So some of you guys could be dealing with it. For a lot of you guys, you got new love coming in. Mm-hmm. You got new love. If you're dealing with a liar, like if Leo, or this could be you, Leo. For some of you guys, you could be the liar. Like not all of you guys, but some of you guys, man. Pero mentirosos like a motherfucker. We should play that song, Mellow Man Ace. Mentirosa. It could be man or woman, okay? Con la lengua venenosa. Ain't got nobody. Be dealing with the Capricorn. Look, all these kids and still want to be out here, you know, grinding. For some of you guys, you're a dude. You could be taking off. I'm going to the store, and they don't trust you. Look, they're like, wait, where are you going? Mm-hmm. They see that devil creeping, and yeah, mm-hmm. Ten of Swords, because they, you know, cheaters know what cheaters do, so they can sniff that out. So I don't know, Leo, you could be dealing with that. Mm-hmm. Look, with the three-party situation, who's been on my ass? They could be tattooing a transparent. Imagine your chick goes out, comes back with a tattoo. I don't know. Now, for some of you guys, if you were placed in a position where they could have left you, could have been a three-party situation. But your person, like the grass wasn't greener. Look right here. Look, I don't know which one you are, but somebody had diarrhea, but there's blood. It could have been somebody could be sick, or Leo, for some of you guys, this is a warning. Whatever person comes towards you, look, could make you sick if you have sex with them. It could drive you crazy. Look, they want you. There's something they're going to put in your drink. For some of you guys, I'm telling you, you could have been dealing with witchcraft, and we're going to go over that. I'm going to do a live video on that. And how are you going to know? Because you felt oppressed. You could have lost it all. Look, it could have been. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius, Aries. Yeah, look, with the Knight of Wands in and out. The Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands. But look, and this really, for some of you guys, this spell work was meant to oppress you. For some of you guys to jump out of it was, look, jumping out of the window. It was not good. But you survive. I'm talking to the ones that survive. Now, king or queen, we have the queen that showed up right here. Okay. Where was it? Look, we saw the queen, the queen, and then we got the king of wands. Where was it? Let me pull it out. Here it is. Look. So now we got these. Look, this is the pair. Yes. Leo, you could be looking fine as hell. And the man could be looking old like this. And you're checking up on him. And for my high vibrational Leos, you could attract a lot of kids. So say your vibration is high. So somebody could be seeing that maybe you changed. I don't know. That just came to my mind. The devil's gonna come and creep in. And I saw Libra. You could be dealing with the Libra or something like that. You're gonna call justice, or somebody's gonna want to call judgment. Let's see, what do we need to know for Leo? Some of you guys are gonna speak up. What are you not saying that is eating you up inside? You can't keep this forever. It's time to let it out so you can move on and be happy. Now, some of you guys, resolution with this, you could have been you could be in solitary, and a lot of you guys, you're putting all your energy into learning a new skill. We have grounding with the elephant, and look, victim mindset. So you could be coming out of this, and for some of you guys, as soon as you start taking accountability for your part or for whatever you did, you're gonna see the benefits, the blessings. I mean, you're gonna see through people. Because for some of you guys, I'm telling, whether it was spell work or not, because for some of you guys, you did have spell work. Look, with the solitude, and you didn't pay attention, but now you are. But regardless if it was spell work, if you're still alive and you're finding out and you're waking up, what I'm advising you is look at it from a higher perspective. Look at how low this person had to go. Still forgive. What did you learn during the process? For a lot of you guys, you're going to have a connection with God even closer. For a lot of you guys, you're going to break generational curses because that happened, generation after generation. And hopefully you're going to be teaching the younger generation, hey, look out for this. Don't do this. Cover your fucking drink, I heard. But look, you're going to release judgment, and you're going to learn about dependence. Whether man or female, mainly women, you're going to learn not to be too dependent. But even with a woman, you're going to learn how to look and protect your family. Because some of you guys didn't speak out. Something could have been going on, and you could have let. They said you could have allowed the things to go, to the shit. They said to the shit, and you could be reflecting. For some of you guys, if you got led on by another man you're reflecting. You're like, okay, wasn't the grass wasn't greener? They could have probably not left their person, and you could be asking forgiveness, and maybe you lost out. For some of you guys, you're gonna be strong. You say, okay, I learned from it, and then you start to rebuild, and it could be hard as hell. But guess what? God will be next to you. He won't do everything for you, but He will be right there guiding you. And once you start to do, He sees you doing good, guess what? He starts to bless you. You start to manifest and bring things in, and you start to learn, like, oh, I'm not making that mistake no more. Oh, no, I ain't jumping on that dick no more. Oh, hell no, I'm not going to. No, you start to look. You start to make sure, you're going to make different choices. And you're going to have this courageous heart, because a lot of you guys, you have the ability to love. And the devil, the enemy, wants you to not love, to harden your heart, to be all masculine. No, sit in your feminine energy. Attract. Fuck them bitches that want to be in all masculine energy. No, what are you going to attract? Pay attention. Use that only when you need to, and then get into your feminine energy. It makes you sexy. It makes you bring to, to call in, to attract, not to chase. I'm just saying, that's what I'm hearing, okay? So for a lot of you guys, forgiveness is going to be like forgiveness for yourself, man. Fuck, and that's where you take accountability. Yeah, man, I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of you guys, I don't think, Leo, they said liars. For some of you guys, you were lying like a motherfucker, and you had traces that you were, doing your thing on that. Not all of you guys, for some of you guys. So you're going to get a caring connection. For some of you guys, it might take a while, but that's because you're going through the process. So let's get you an angel number, and I got a badass one of these uplifting quotes. Okay, so Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. They really want you to concentrate. This is the only card that was left out. Look, going back to school. Oh, bitch, you're going back to school like the Dangerfield. Loves when you sing. Wow, so you have somebody that loves when you sing. And look, overseas connection, bitch. You're moving weight. Some of you guys, I think some of you guys are buying pinchy containers full of wigs and nails, something. I don't know. If it's dope, let us know. It says right here, look, guidance 333. And then you have awakening 1010. So it says right here, I am guided by the wisdom of the universe. I trust the signs and synchronicities that lead me on my path. The divine guides me. The divine guides are always with me, illuminating my journey with love and light. Fucker's hard to read. And then 1010, okay, awakening. I am awakening. Damn, I really need some preachy glasses to my true purpose. I listen to the whispers of my soul, not your ex, bitch, not your ex. Fuck no. It says to your soul, and follow my path of my highs. My highest good, okay? Every moment is an opportunity for spiritual growth and awakening. So some of you guys, look at that 333. You be seeing that 1010. It's like you be telling people like, bitch, it's over. But we barely met. I don't care. You have a vibration that I don't like, or maybe they smell some way. But you could be a little blunt. You need to calm it down. They said, do it with love. Okay. What about, look at this. We're gonna just pick one. But it says right here, you are pretty fucking awesome. Do you know that, Leo? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, anywhere in your chart? Do you know? This is what it's telling you. You are pretty fucking awesome. Keep that shit up. And for a lot of you guys, if you're a lady, you're meeting somebody, you're pretty fucking badass. Cabrón, keep it up, and you're 2-3 rounds. My God. So you're going to be pretty happy, I heard. So that's what I got for you, Leo. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and comment.